All right, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are going to go through updates over the last 24 hours, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some team building, advanced activity stuff. I told you yesterday that as this week winds down, we're over 40 days now, so we're going to move out of talking about daily activity, and we're going to start talking about duplication. We're going to start talking about leadership skills, things that you need to be promoting inside your organizations, because at this point everybody should have an organization. So we're going to start moving that direction, and we're going to stop talking about kind of level one things and start moving into some level two content. So just to get things started, I asked for an update over the last 24 hours. So we'll start with Marcus. You got your 5 contacts today. That's good. Went to Starbucks like we discussed. How did that go?
It was actually really good. And I just kept thinking about what you were saying when I was there because the way everything happened was like I was walking. I did the 47-minute walk. It was really like 35, 40. And then as soon as I got there, I met somebody, and he's like, and I basically was telling him like what goes on around here because he seemed like he knew what like happens in the mall. I guess like I don't know, like he seemed familiar with everything, but he basically told me that he would be like my guide. So like he's gonna show me certain things. He's like, yo, you definitely got to get out the house. He basically was saying that he was basically the same, and then now he's just everywhere. So I have somebody who's gonna be like a guide to me. So I'll move forward with prospecting him as time goes along. And then like I went upstairs. He's like, "Yo, go upstairs. Check this out." As soon as I go upstairs, some dude calls me over, and then I'm talking to him. And he tells me about his business and how he started from nothing, and now he has this spot in the mall, and he loves to travel. So I spoke to him too, and I have his contact. And then right after that, I got the person that I scheduled the lunch with. Like literally right after that conversation, he's like, "Yo, like you ever been here?" And we like, "No."
Mhm.
And he was like, "You got to come here. I just started working here." Like so, just the conversations. It was just back to back to back to back, and it kind of was like blew my mind.
Awesome.
And the Starbucks was in the mall, so it was like even crazier. It was like a section cut off. It was like it's
We
so
have one
hard
of
to
those
explain.
in
Like
Dallas. Yeah, no, I know. We have one of those at one of the malls in Dallas. It's like almost like a really big kiosk in the middle of the mall.
yeah, so that
Good.
was kind of like
And then
crazy too. So I'm definitely gonna go back.
There's that other
What'd you
Starbucks
say?
too. So don't forget, there's 2 in Scranton. Remember, we pulled up another one that would be more of a traditional Starbucks, probably, since that one's in the mall. So I'm assuming that they're not both in malls. So you've got another one that you can go to as well. So that's a plus. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna put that on my list as well too. So yeah. But
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
overall
That's good.
it was a great experience, and I should have definitely done that. And the other person that I was talking to, he was literally telling me basically I should have been doing this. And he's not even in Bright Life, so that was just like another confirmation.
Good. Awesome, man. Well, good work today. That's great. Okay, Daryl, you're still out of town. I understand. You did get a guy on the call tonight. That's good. So you're going to be following up, getting him signed up tonight. Daryl. Daryl may have hopped off. He was on the call with somebody. We can't hear you if you're on, Daryl, but if you're not, then
My bad, my
oh,
bad. I
good.
just didn't hit the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
So
signing up tonight, and
did you
I
already do
did hear from
a three-way? Did you already do a third party with him?
sir. I hadn't called him back.
You haven't called him back yet?
Uh-uh.
Okay, call him back.
Yeah, I just talked to him. I'm talking
Just,
about calling him back, huh?
just mute and then call him. Get Denson or somebody on your upline or somebody on your team to do third party with him. Get that person on first and then call him with them on three-way. You can come back to this. We're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Don't
All
let him
right.
cold. Get on him right now. Okay,
Okay.
Jessica, I know you had a busy day today. You had a couple calls with Ronnie. Got 2 new contacts, setting up a Zoom for tomorrow. Um, you have 3 scheduled for Friday to sign up. Can you get those 3 to sign up just as influencers to lock their place in so that they're already committed and you can start treating them like they're in?
I've got one that already is doing that, that has a brother-in-law that's going to speak with tonight, so he's actually already working on that. So I'm following up with him tomorrow to go and just get signed up
Good.
as an influencer.
Excellent. That's good. I mean, it's a good way to lock them in. I mean, I don't do this whole let's sign up on Friday when you get paid thing. Like everybody's got $20, like lock their place in and then start treating them like they're in. So mentally, you want
Yeah.
to treat them like they're already in.
Yeah. And so it's somebody that's actually been staying with me, and I've been keeping them up to date on everything that's new that's we've got going on. So they're like, yep, they're ready to get locked in.
Okay.
And then the call that we did, me and Ronnie did today, that actually went really well. So that's why he was wanting to schedule a second call for, we were supposed to do it tonight, but he ended up being on a plane at 7 o'clock. So it kind of interfered with that time frame because Ronnie was available at that time, but he was going to be on the airplane at that time. So we're scheduling for tomorrow and then going to get him closed out.
Okay, good. Excellent. Well, if he's on a plane, he travels, so he can't say that he doesn't.
Yeah. And he's got a whole bunch of buddies that travel too. So he's talked about that. So he just wants to get more inside of everything that on the member side. So that's what me and Ronnie are going to do, show him what the inside of what we get as a member so that he can be able to get more people on with him.
Okay, cool. Good work.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
That's it.
Sounds good. Simba, you went to a networking event tonight. You got 11 contacts. Tell me more.
Yeah, it was like a Caribbean business mixer,
Nice.
and it was actually amazing. Like I met like a lot of people that have their own businesses. There was a panel, talked to at least like 3, 4 people on that panel, and I was just they even had like a bingo that you had to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to find people to
To meet.
what's it called? To meet and put their names on there and what contact you got. Like if you got their Instagram, their number. So that was cool.
Good.
And when I was talking to one of the panelists, like I also invited him to Saturday's brunch. So just gonna follow up with him tomorrow. And yeah, it was just great. So
Good.
and I also invited like in the beginning, like this was one person that really connected with me. And he like super locked in, and we had real good conversation. He also invited him and 2 other people, but it was actually great. So, and I was also in that bar. It was a rooftop bar. Also, it just shows the whole city,
Nice.
and I've been there before, and I've also prospected in there. Like I got 2. That was where I was in the event.
Did you have one of your signs there so you could get people to take pictures with the sign?
No, dang, that was a great idea. Next time, I'm gonna have to have that sound on me at all times.
If you guys do any stuff where there's good photo ops, y'all need to be taking signs with you to these networking events. And people love taking pictures with the signs. It's an easy way to meet people and talk to people and connect and get them to jump in the picture with the sign. Everybody wants to do it. So you guys should be carrying whatever you're taking with you. If you have a backpack or bag or whatever, stick it inside your backpack or whatever you're carrying around with you. Carry signs with you everywhere you go. You never know when you're going to have an opportunity to use those signs and have people take pictures with you, and just ask people to jump in the photo. Just make it a group thing. It's a good way to meet people. People love taking pictures with the sign. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Good job. Is that the most contacts you've ever gotten in a day before? 11?
Yes.
Nice. Okay,
I
good.
think the last time the second and the best I did, I think, was 8. So now, yeah, I guess, yeah, this is amazing. Thank you.
Good. Okay, Saith, you rescheduled your lunch meeting for today for tomorrow. You had 2 people on the Zoom tonight. Who did you use for third party with your person that you talked to after the Zoom?
He wouldn't actually get on the phone with me. It
What
was just through text.
Yeah, but you don't ask them. You don't have to ask permission to call somebody for a three-way. Just call them. You just get whoever your third party is, you just get them on the phone and you call your person. You don't tell them that you're calling with the three-way or like schedule it like a meeting. You just do it. You just call them with the person already on the phone, and that way they can't say anything. They've got to talk to you. Then that way they're not in charge. They're not your boss. They don't have to approve it. You see what I'm saying? You just literally get whoever your third party is on the phone, and then you call them with that person already on the line, and then that way they have to meet them. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because here's the thing, that they're not ready to travel. That's the exact reason to me that they need to sign up. So my next question is, but you're going to travel again, right? Well, yeah, of course. Or are you just planning to stay in your house for the rest of your life? And then I put LOL. And so, of
Well,
course,
he actually
you
told me
travel.
5 years
What's that?
because I did ask him. I asked him how long he planned on waiting. He said 5 years.
Okay, good. Well, the good news is that he can start saving, and with Bright Life, he's probably going to be able to do it faster. But the thing is you still didn't have a third-party validation. So remember, can I do this and will it work? He doesn't think it's real. I mean, if somebody's saying that they didn't see enough and they're not ready to travel, then they didn't answer those questions with a yes. The can I do it and will it work? They'll smoke screen you all day, but those are the questions they have to answer with a yes. So if you don't do a third party, don't expect to sign somebody up. So if you're going to expose somebody and not do a third party, you're really wasting your time exposing them at all. Like, you have to be ready for the third party as soon as that video is done, as soon as that Zoom is done. You got to be ready to put them on the phone with somebody. You didn't talk to me today and tell me that you were going to be on with somebody. So who were you expecting to use for your third party if he hadn't acted like that?
Well, I guess I didn't think of it correctly on the Zoom.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, like, so to me, like, once again, and I think all of you need to think about this, right? Because several of you have done exposures where you've not done third party. So to me, if you don't do third party validation, that's an incomplete exposure. If we're talking about productivity and being effective, if you're doing an exposure and you're not doing a third party, there's really no reason, honestly, in my opinion, that you should do the exposure at all. Unless you go, it's kind of like doing an invite and then not doing the exposure. I mean, to me, a third party validation is so critical a component that it's just as critical as the exposure. So if you're going to invite somebody to an exposure and not do a third party validation afterwards, you really shouldn't even invite them to begin with. I mean, it's that important. It's that critical of a step. And you're going to notice on here, every time you guys don't sign somebody up, I'm going to ask you, who did you use for third party validation? And not one of you guys has told me when I've asked you that, because everybody who hasn't gotten sales on here, I've asked y'all that question every time, and it's like, I forgot. Daryl's like, oh, well, I couldn't get him on the phone. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Right. But technically, David doesn't do this late normally anyway. And I've only been able to use you, and we obviously can't do it that way. So
why couldn't you use
point,
me? I was available tonight. I did a meeting in Michigan on Eastern time. I was just sitting here waiting to get with you guys. I could have done it.
Yeah. Okay. I've noticed a lot of times that you are busy as you're getting on, though.
Well, yeah, but
so I will check with you more.
Well, these guys, I mean, if David's not going to take your call, which I'm a little surprised at, I mean, I can talk to him.
No, I haven't checked with him lately, but I knew that he told me that.
Well, but if you tell him that you're getting,
work harder on him.
But if you're telling people that you're using the Zoom that's at 9:00 Eastern, that you need a testimonial, I mean, honestly, he's the type of guy that he would hop on and do a testimonial. But if he won't, I will. And these guys all on here want you to win. So if these guys have to wait a couple minutes because you're signing somebody up, they're all fired up for you. And they would all expect the exact same thing. So, I mean, our goal is to help all of you guys rank up and get to $100,000 a year. So, I mean, we're all in this together. So if any of you have somebody that gets on the Zoom with you at 9, and then we're starting this at 9:30, but you've got a hot prospect that's ready for me to close, I'm going to close them. These guys can wait for a few minutes. I mean, we've done this for 43 days. So nothing's going to happen in the next 20 minutes that's life or death. I mean, we're still talking about stuff that we started talking about 43 days ago. So nobody's going anywhere. Everybody on here is committed. So But once again, so to me, there are certain components to this process. The invite, the exposure, the third party validation, they're all equal. They're all just as important. How you invite, how you expose, and then how you close are all equally important. And if you're not using third party validation, you're missing that can I do this and will it work component. You have to remove yourself from the equation. So you've got to be ready for a third party validation. Doing an exposure and not having a third party ready, you might as well not do the exposure. Just going forward. Just do it when you're ready to close. Because if you're not ready to close, I think the odds of this group right now, because of where you are in your skill sets, the odds of you guys closing sales on your own without following the program and using the system, I would say it's probably 10% or less. So that's not very good odds, you know? And when you use my system, you put me on the phone, I'm going to say I'm going to close half the people you put me on the phone with. So that's 500% increase over where you are if you don't use it. So I just think it's critical. So you guys are going to notice a trend every time you tell me, oh, well, so-and-so didn't sign up or so-and-so didn't join or I got to know. I'm going to ask you first question, who was your third party validation? How did the call go? You know, how did you expose them? These are my questions because you have to be able to step out and look at your business from an outside perspective. So it's a team sport. You've got to use the system. And so this is the same for everybody, not just you, Safe. Everybody, I mean, when Daryl said he had 2 exposures and no sales a couple of days ago, and he didn't do third-party validation on either one of them. And I told him, you're not going to get sales probably. And Daryl, are you back on now? I think he's still doing that call.
Yeah, I just got back, yeah.
Okay, so remember last week when you did 2 exposures, I think on Wednesday, and you didn't get any sales? You were traveling, I think, or one of the guys was traveling. And I told you to call tonight. Don't let them go to sleep or they're going to be no's forever. How many of those 2 have signed up?
0.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? So y'all have to do third-party validation at the time, at the exposure time. It's just as important as the exposure itself. Were you able to get on the phone and do third-party validations with those 2 prospects, Daryl?
Well, that night I wasn't, and the guy just called back. He just got out the shower, and but he said he wants to sign up. He don't want to do the business.
Okay, so you don't have to.
Still need to do a third-party validation with him.
You still need to do third-party validation because put him on the phone with somebody who's saved money on travel or played golf or whatever, something that can make it real. But here's the thing: my perfect response to somebody who says that they don't want to do the business. Oh, I don't want to do stuff like that. Oh, perfect. You can be a secret agent instead of a travel agent. You don't have to tell a soul. It'll be top secret like 007. And I'll laugh. So there you go. They don't have to tell anybody. Tell them, say, look, I won't blow your cover. You don't have to tell anybody. If you want to keep all the savings and discounts to yourself, you don't have to share with anyone. Okay? So yeah, you need to use third-party validation. You guys need to be going into these presentations, going into these meetings with your third party lined up. That was like day 7 or day 8 max. Like go into the meetings with your third party already on speed dial, text them before, let them know you're doing it. Safe, you're really good about this. Hey, Wes, I'm doing a Zoom later. I'm doing a call later. I'm doing a meeting later. Are you available? Yes. Just text me or call me or give me a heads up when you're starting or you're doing your meeting. And so same kind of thing. Every time you go do a presentation, you guys have to have your third party locked and loaded, ready to go. They need to be on standby. They need to be on speed dial. This is an important part of it's an important part of the process. It's just as important as the presentation itself. In fact, it's probably more important. To me, it's the single biggest reason why people don't sign up. Because can I do this and will it work? Those 2 questions are critical. And third-party validation helps with both. Definitely will it work? Because they don't really believe you, because they know you have a vested interest. And like I said, you're not a prophet in your own town. So they're going to believe an independent party if you edify them properly, if you edify the third party and make them sound like a rock star, and then you edify your friend or your person for the expert, then they're on an even playing field. You can step up and step out and get out of the way and let the expert do the third-party validation. And now they think it works because you removed yourself from the equation and introduced them to a complete stranger that you made sound like a rock star. So if you edify properly and you use third party properly, your closing percentage will go up 500%, probably 5x, maybe more. So if you're not making sales, if you're not converting, those questions, can I do this? Will it work? They're answering them with a no, period. That's it. End of story. It's the only reason why people don't sign up, unless they're like the guy Saith saw a couple weeks ago that said he's a hermit and never leaves his house and he's scared of planes. Every once in a while, you'll have one of those. It's fine. Okay. Anybody else? Any other updates from today? Anybody else? Or what's hot? Something positive? Anything else? Any sales coming in or anything I missed? Going once, going twice. All right. So tonight I want to talk about some new concepts, and I want to talk to you tonight about the ability to manage people effectively, okay? So one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I got started 20 some odd years ago was I just assumed that everybody wanted to get to the top of the comp plan. Because my goal was, when I started, I wanted to make it to the top rank, which at World Ventures was $50,000 a month. I wanted to make $50,000 a month. I wanted to be an IMD. That's what the title was. And so that was my goal. And so I made a mistake, and that mistake was I assumed everybody wanted what I wanted. See, here, I can hold you guys accountable because you all agreed to do the work. You all agreed to do the assignments. You all agreed to do the 7-hour work week at a minimum. And so that's what we're talking about. That's what we're basing this 90-day challenge off of. But when somebody signs up, they're an independent contractor, so you're not their boss. So you can't make them do things. Now, you can keep them listening and keep them performing if you keep them up here on that rejection roller coaster. Rather than being down here with negativity and rejection, then you can keep them up here. And the way you keep them up, we've talked about this, getting sales, going on trips, being around the group, going to live events, meeting other top earners, meeting other members, being involved in the group, being involved in the Facebook group, being involved in all of the calls, getting on the trainings, getting on Corey's calls, keeping people plugged into the system. That's how you keep people off the bottom level of that rejection roller coaster. Okay, we've talked about this. Those are all things that you can do to keep people engaged in the business, keep them listening, keep them paying attention, all of those things, that's all part of it, okay? And so when you get a chance to work with somebody, the most effective way you can manage them and actually set expectations and have them perform is to find out why it is that they got involved. You've got to get good at finding people's whys. Like, what is your motivation? What is your why? And so this is an important conversation that you should have early on when people get started, because if you have this conversation early on, then it sets the tone for how you're going to work with them. If their goal is only to get a free membership, then you don't want to waste your time getting them to come to so many things, getting them to be your running buddy, treating them like they want to be at $500,000 a month or that they want to be at 6 figures a year. You can't really have any of those conversations with people. Something has to change and shift for them in order to change their mindset. But in the beginning, you need to be asking people why they signed up, why they got involved, what their goals are. So having these conversations with people allows you to learn why the person got signed up in the first place and what is motivating them. Like, what is their objective with Bright Life? What do they want to get out of it? Why did they sign up? What did they like most? Did they get in just for travel? Did they get in just for the money? Did they get in for both? How much money do they want to make? How much travel do they want to do? These are all digging, probing questions that allow you to work with them more effectively. Because here's what I'll tell you. Most people do not want to make $100,000 a year. Most people do not want to make $100,000 a month. Most people would like to make just an extra $500 a month or $1,000 a month. And so you don't have to push them as hard, and you can keep them excited and motivated by reminding them why it was that they signed up in the first place. Because a lot of times after that first little bit of rejection and negativity, people forget the reason why they came on board to begin with. But if you know you can remind them, hey, remember that conversation? You told me you were saving for your daughter's, college tuition fund. So did she decide, so this is a real conversation I've had with people. I've had this question, and a lot of times people want to set aside money for college or for kids' activities or maybe private school or whatever. And so my question becomes, when they stop showing up, stop taking my calls, stop inviting, stop trying, stop working, I'm like, so did your kids decide that they weren't going to go to college? Did they decide they didn't want to go to private school? And they're like, no, that's still the goal. And I'm like, so did you win the lottery or something? Like, what changed? Because you told me that you wanted XYZ, and now you're not doing ABC that is necessary to get XYZ. So I just wondered if something changed in your situation, and maybe you won the lottery, or, your kids decided they weren't going to college, because you told me the reason you signed up for this was to save for kids' college, but now you're not going to any meetings, you're not doing any presentations, you're not doing any live events. So I just thought maybe something happened that I didn't know about. And I kind of am a little bit like, almost like joking about it, because I remember what their goals are. And so the sad thing is that most people will not work as hard for their goals, right? And so, they'll talk about them and they'll have these big goals, but then when they realize what they have to do to actually get them, that the work has to match what the goal is, then a lot of times they stop. And so I wanted to talk about that tonight, because these are conversations that you need to have with your people. And because of the fact that, a lot of you have smaller teams, then you should know everybody on your team. So when I got to know my team back in the early days, when I got started, I could tell you, until I had probably a couple hundred people on my team, I could tell you all their names. I could tell you their kids' names, their spouses' names. I went into most of their houses because I did launch events for everybody on my team, even people that were not my personals. And so that's another thing that you need to be getting better at, is doing launch events for your team, even if they're not your personals. I treat them like they're my personals. So these couple hundred people that I had on my team, I'd been to most of their houses. I'd even slept on some of their couches, stayed in some of their guest houses, guest bedrooms. I mean, I had traveled around and worked with these people hand in hand. And so I knew them well. I knew why they signed up. I knew what their goals were. I knew what kind of cars they drove. I knew where they lived. I knew what city they lived in. I mean, I knew everything, because I knew my business. I knew my team. I was asking these questions constantly. So if you're going to get people to the top, you have to learn your people, why they signed up, why they joined, what motivates them, what do they not like, what do they like, what do they get nervous about. These are all questions that you have to ask to be good at working with people. And so working through these things and understanding them will help you work with people more effectively. But most importantly, it will also help you remind them why they're facing the negativity, why they're facing rejection, why it's just a sorting game, why it's not a convincing game. All of that comes from behavioral performance. And so the more you know, the more questions you ask, the more you get to know your people and your teams, the more effective you're going to be able to be at leading them. All right. So I wanted to talk about that tonight, and I want to start getting into some more advanced leadership content and start talking about some more advanced skills. But here's the sad part. If you don't have people to practice this on, it's not going to be as productive for you, because you guys should be using the things that I'm teaching you the next day. So your part of your goal is immediate implementation of new skills. Okay. This is a psychological aspect of training and behavior. So when you learn something, you should immediately try to implement that immediately before you forget it. That's the best way to make it part of your regular routine, is implementation. So if I teach you advanced skills tonight and you don't go use them tomorrow, you're going to forget them by the time it comes time to use them. So for those of you that don't have big teams or a team at all, you've got work to do, because if I'm going to start teaching you advanced leadership skills and I'm going to start talking about how to work with your people, you have to start using it. You need to put that knowledge to work immediately, because every day that goes by, remember, you're losing 50% at a bare minimum of what you just took in. So that means that tomorrow you'll have already forgotten half of what I told you tonight. So if you can go and immediately implement the skills that I'm teaching you tomorrow, then you will be more likely to retain that information and to make it part of your regular behavior. Okay, so this is where it gets serious, because we've been at this for over 40 days. We've been talking about week 1 stuff for 40 days, right? It's time to move on. It's time to get your big boy pants and your big girl pants on and to start growing your business and to start doing advanced skills and get out of these other like hand holding basic skills. Okay. We've stayed in them for far too long. And that's why I'm telling you, if you're not committed, if you're not going to do the work, if you're not going to meet the assignments, at this point, it's time for you to check out of the training, because you're going to be holding everybody else in the group back if you're not participating, and we can't go back and talk about what you learned, what's happening, how you're growing. We can't just keep talking about coins and prospecting every day, because, I mean, that's basic stuff. We should be way past that by now. So I want to keep growing these topics. I want to keep talking about advanced skills, and they're going to benefit all of you, but you have to put them into motion. You have to use them as soon as you hear them. So tomorrow, your goal is to have these conversations with everybody in your organization. Call them and just talk to them. Why did you sign up? What did you like best? What was the reason you joined? What did you want to get out of Bright Life? How much did you want to make? What amount of money would change your personal situation? These are questions that you should know about everybody on your team. I mean, like I said, I could have answered these questions about everybody in my organization, including much, much more, until I had over 200 people in my organization. I can tell you all of this stuff. And it's still to this day, I'm still friends with a lot of these people from over 20 years ago. They still send me messages. They send messages to me about Gianna. They send me birthday messages. These are people that I haven't worked with in a decade or more. And because I worked with them that closely and got to know them and helped them with their goals, you have a different level of respect for people that get in the trenches with you and help you accomplish your dreams. And so these are the conversations that you need to be having as soon as people join your organization and as soon as people come on board, so that you can manage them more effectively. All right. So hopefully we can continue to talk about these advanced topics and get off of the beginner topics. I'm going to still keep asking you for your activity. I'm hoping that it starts becoming more and more sales and less strikeouts, right? Because we're still not doing things right. But I'm over this basic stuff. Like we're going to move on, and I'm just going to have to trust you guys that you've heard enough, and you can go back and rewatch the videos. If you're not getting sales, if you're not getting people to show up, if you're not getting people to, you're not exposing people, you need to go back and re-listen to the first 40 days. And the rest of us are going to keep moving on and keep moving into the advanced stuff. All right. So hopefully that'll be okay for you guys. It's been 40 days. We've got to move on. We've got to keep developing. We've got to keep moving our skill level up, or we're not going to get to 100,000 a year. That's for sure. All right. So have a great night tonight. Tomorrow and Friday, we will not be doing this. Thursdays and Fridays, the last couple weeks, I've been doing events. And so we are not going to do this call again until Saturday, and it'll be the training with the whole company. So you guys won't be back in this environment until Sunday. So you guys should all be doing launch events this weekend. You should all be working this weekend. You should all be doing exposures every day. Remember, a minimum of 1 exposure a day. Everybody needs to get into that $10,000 shot for March Madness. That means that you have to put in a personal member sale before midnight on Friday night. So do not mess that up. Do not forget, you got to put a sale in to make your shot at $10,000. So I'll see you guys back here on Saturday morning on the regular training, and then we'll be back in this environment on Sunday night. So we'll see you guys on Sunday, if not sooner. If you guys need me, shoot me a text. I'll be available to help you close if I'm not on a Zoom or if I'm not traveling. So usually in the mornings is the best time for me. Once I get like past 10 o'clock, I'm usually in calls and Zooms until the afternoon, and then I've got a little window before any Zooms or meetings. So that's kind of been the schedule lately. All right, guys, we'll see you on Sunday.